Hi, I'm Jennifer of Celtic Knot Crochet, and today in this video I'll be showing you how to crochet the Crochet Cable Headband. This is an intermediate pattern. You'll need to know how to do the single crochet stitch, double crochet, and several post stitches. It uses a small amount of yarn and about a 13-row pattern repeat. So I'm going to show you each step of this project so you can be successful. If you like the project and this video, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. To make the crochet cabled headband, you're going to need a size 3 or DK weight yarn. Now this here I'm using for demonstration is this beautiful blue hand-dyed worsted weight yarn by Hazel Knits. And this color is Sapphire. You can find all of their lovely yarns at hazelknits.com and in the description below. This says that it's worsted weight, but to me it feels a little bit thinner than, let's say, Red Heart Super Saver, which is also medium worsted weight yarn. So this is thinner, like a DK weight. And it will work well for the size of these cables and the size of the overall project. You'll need about 300 yards to make sure you have enough, because crochet cable stitches are very dense and use more yarn than you are expecting. You'll also need a size F or 3.75 millimeter crochet hook and a tapestry needle to weave in your ends and join the two short ends of the headband at the end. We'll be working this in rows back and forth. It goes very quickly once you get the hang of the pattern. Let me also show you a few things about the cables and this crocheted fabric before we start. This is the wrong side, and you see there's a whole bunch of these little pockets from when we had to skip stitches. That's how you do a lot of cables. And then the right side will have all the cable post stitches popping out at you. And if you look closely, you can see how they alternate with under and then over, under and over. And that's what makes for the longer stitch pattern, but it really isn't that difficult to create this cable. In between all the cables, we're doing some tight single crochet stitches. And as mentioned before, we'll be doing a bunch of post stitches. You'll have to know how to do a front post double crochet, a back post double crochet, and a front post treble crochet. Front post treble crochets are often used in cable designs when crossing, like so. And then front and back post double crochets are often used when you're creating the cord going straight up like this of the cables. We'll also be using some post stitches for this nice ribbed edging. As much as I love this blue color, it is going to be easier for you to see the stitches if I use some thicker, brighter yarn. So to begin this project, you're going to want to chain 20. Then you're going to skip the first chain and work into the second chain with a single crochet. Hook in, yarn over, pull through the chain, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to work a single crochet in each chain across the row. So this is row 1, one row of just single crochet. Whenever we start a cable project, we need to do a couple plain rows so we have something to work our post stitches into. So because I'm using this bigger hook and thicker yarn, my project's going to be bigger than what's intended for the headband, but I think this will help you see the stitches much better. So you will have 19 single crochets across row 1. Then you're going to chain 1 and you're going to work a single crochet in each stitch across. So you're going to have 2 rows of just single crochet. Here you can see our 2 rows of single crochet. Now when you work cables and you work post stitches, you usually work in rows below your working row. So to start row 3, I'm going to chain 1 and work a single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. And then I need to start working in this row 1, and I'm going to be working around those single crochets I made at the very beginning. So because I worked 2 up here on my working row, I'm going to skip those first 2 on row 1, and I'm going to work into the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see them right here, all those V's making up the single crochet. So I'm going to do a front post double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over, and then I'm going to insert my hook through the fabric, around the back, and back out to the front around this single crochet post. And then I yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm going to go around the next single crochet. You can see right here, again this is on row 1. And by doing these post stitches, it really helps the stitches to pop and sit on top of your crochet project like cables do. And I'm doing 6 of these, so that's 3 right there. Here's my next one. And number 6. So that is what starts my cable twist. So each of these cable twists right here, you can see, have 3 post stitches on either side, so for a total of 6. So they're next to each other here, and then they cross, then they separate and work their way up, then they come back close to each other and cross, then they're close to each other, then separate, and that's how it continues. And I have 2 of those, so 6 post stitches for this one and 6 post stitches for this one. So this is how we start it. Sometimes the first row or first couple rows of a cable pattern can be tricky because you're starting from nothing. But once you have these post stitches in the right place, it goes much easier. So now we need to skip 6 stitches on our working row. So here are our post stitches, and if we look back, here's our working row. We need to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to go into that next stitch right here and do a single crochet. And that's our working row, row 3. Then we're going to do 2 more single crochets. So we have 3 in the middle here. Now we're going to do those 6 post stitches down low in row 1 again. And since I know I did 3 single crochets on my working row, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to skip the next 3 down on row 1. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to work around this one right here. Yarn over, put my hook in and around the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2. And I'll do that in the next 5. So I have another 6 front post double crochets. Now, if this is your first time doing cables, I highly recommend you practice this stitch like I am, maybe with a thicker yarn and a larger hook, so it's easier for you to see, because the cables with the thinner yarn are very tight. They look great in the finished project, but they can be a little tricky to see if this is your first time. So here are my 6 front post double crochets, and now I'm going to look back here on my working row, and if you look, I have to skip 6 stitches here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I should have 2 left, and I'm going to work in the last 2 stitches of the row with single crochet. Remember, if you do better with a written pattern, you can see that written pattern on my blog at celticknotcrochet.com. Now this is the right side of the project. Whenever the cables are facing you, this is the right side. And whenever the wrong side is facing you, you're always going to do single crochet. So that's one of the reasons I like this cable pattern, is because every wrong side row you just do a brainless work single crochet across, and you should have 19 single crochets at the end of every even row, which is the wrong side row. So that's what we're at. We're at row 4, so I'm going to chain 1, turn, and now all along, I'm not going to work here, that's from before. I'm going to work all those stitches I just made with row 3. Now I'm going to work into those with single crochet. So you want to make sure you stay on top of those post stitches and truck along there, making sure not to work in these stitches here. These are the ones we skipped, and we're not going to be working in those at all. And those will be on the wrong side of our project, so nobody will see those. And you just want to make sure, again, on this side, can you see, here are the skip stitches, and then here's my post stitches, part of row 3 that I want to work all the way across. So that might be one of the most challenging things of this project, is to make sure that you're working in the correct stitches. So when you finish row 4, this is what it's going to look like on the wrong side. You have those 6 skip stitches on either side, and then you have your single crochet all the way across. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and now I'm ready for row 5. And you can see here are those post stitches right here that I'm going to start working around to create the cable design. So to begin row 5, I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to work a single crochet in the very first stitch. And now I'm going to start working around these front post double crochets that I've made in row 3, remember? And I can easily put my hook around these. So I'm going to work around these first 3 right here. So I'm going to yarn over, put my hook around the first one right here, and complete the double crochet as usual. Put my hook around the next one, and yarn over and put my hook around the third one. So now I'm going to start splitting the cable. They were together, and now they're going to start veering to the left and to the right. Now I'm going to skip those 3 stitches on my working row to stand for the 3 post stitches I just did. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to put a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches on the working row. 1, 2. Now I'm going to work around the next 3 post stitches. So I have to go back a little bit. 1, go around the next one, 2, and 3. And by adding those single crochet stitches in between, now the cable is starting to separate. Now I want to skip the next 3 stitches here on my working row, 1, 2, 3, and then in this next stitch I'm going to single crochet. And so I have one side of my cable completed. Now I'm going to repeat that over here on this side. I'm going to work around the first 3 post stitches with another front post double crochet. So I have 1 here, 2, 3, and then I have to skip the next 3 stitches on my working row, 1, 2, 3, so it's behind everything. Then I'm going to put a single crochet in the next 2 stitches on my working row, 1, 2. Now there are 3 more stitches, so I'm going to do my front post doubles around those next 3. 1, 2, 3, and now since I just made 3 stitches, I have to skip 3 on the back. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to single crochet in the last stitch, like so. And that's what it should look like here at the end of row 5. So we have our cables together, and then they're starting to separate, and that's what creates that parting and then come together. And now that it is an even row, I'm going to chain 1, turn, and single crochet in each stitch across. And again, remember all these skipped stitches that you can see down here, we're not working in those at all. We're keeping our single crochets along the very top line of stitches that we made. So they're just above those skipped stitches. So if you look here, you can see here are the skip stitches right here and right here. See those? But we don't want to work into those. We want to work into these ones up top, which if we turn our work, we can see that they are attached to those post stitches and the single crochets we made. And now we've completed row 6. You could really see how the cables are starting to separate. So now row 7, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the first stitch. Then we're going to work the same similar thing that we just did in row 5. Single crochet in the first stitch, and then we're going to do a front post double crochet around these front post double crochets. Yarn over, put your hook around, yarn over, hook around, yarn over, hook around, like that. And then we have to skip 3 on the back, 1, 2, 3, that's our working row, and then single crochet in each of the next 2, 1, 2. And now we're going to do 3 more front post doubles. Yarn over, around that first double crochet, around the next one, and around that third one. Remember, everything's in sets of 3s and 6s. And now we skip the 3 on the working row, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet here in the center of the headband. And now we repeat that again with these 6 front post double crochets. So front post double around this one, front post double around the next one, and front post double around the third one. Then we're going to skip the 3 on the back, 1, 2, 3, and then work single crochet in the next 2, 1, 2, and then front post double around each of those. 1, 2, and 3. and then we look on the back and we skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to single crochet right here in that last single crochet. And you can really see the cables coming into shape now. Alright, that was row 7. Now row 8. We're going to chain 1, turn. This is the wrong side. Again, you can see all those skip stitches, but we're going to work along this top row of stitches, and we're just going to do single crochet in each stitch across. And remember, you'll have 19 single crochets at the end of every even row, which is the wrong side row. Okay, so that's row 8. Then we're going to chain 1, turn, and now we're going to repeat row 7 again. So row 7, if you remember, we chained 1, we put a single crochet in the first stitch, then we did front post double around the first 3 here. 1 around the next one, and around this one here, the third one. Then we skip 3 up here, 1, 2, 3 on our working row, and then single crochet in the next 2, 1, 2, and now here's our next 3 front post doubles, so we'll do single front post double around those, 1 around the next one here, and this one here. Then we're going to skip 3 stitches on the working row, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put a single crochet in that center. Now we have the same thing again, 3 front post doubles. Front post double right here, 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do single crochet in each of the next 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3 here, front post double, 1, 2, 3, and then skip 3 here, 1, 2, 3, and put a single crochet in that last stitch. And there we have row 9 completed. And you can really see here how these post stitches are separating. And so now we're going to slowly bring them back so that they can cross. Now that we've finished row 9, we're going to work our next even row, row 10. And we repeat row 4, which is chain 1, turn, and then work a single crochet in those very top stitches all the way across. Again, you should have 19 single crochets at the end of the row. And after you complete each even row, you can see the back side of the single crochet all the way across. But then once we start working more post stitches over these single crochet, they sort of disappear and your brain just picks out the popped out stitches. So now we're ready to do row 11. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to work a single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. And now we're going to work around all 6 of these stitches again. And now we're not going to put anything in the middle. We're going to work them all in a row like we did down here, and this will bring them back together. So I'm going to do front post double crochet around that first front post double crochet right here. Here's my next one. And the one after that. And now I'm going to skip all this stuff and go right to the next 3. And you could see how that draws the cable back together. Then we're going to skip those 6 stitches on our working row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see they're behind the stitches we just did. And now we're going to work a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do the same thing. Work a front post double crochet around the next 6 post stitches. Skip all this stuff and go right to that next post stitch. And then we want to skip 6 behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have 2 left here at the end. 1 and 2. And that's what it'll look like when you complete row 11. So we started with the 6 front post double crochets next to each other. Then we worked some single crochets in between to move them to the side, and now we bring them back together. And now we're on row 12. We're going to chain 1 turn and work single crochet in each stitch across. So every time you have the wrong side facing, you get a little breather. You don't have to think about the cables or the post stitches. You just make sure you stay on the stitches you just made, and you do single crochet all the way across. So here's what it looks like when we've completed row 12. Now row 13 is probably the most challenging row out of this whole pattern, and this is where we're going to create this part of the cables where it's going to go over the other set of post stitches and give that woven look. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work so I have my right side facing. This is row 13, and I'm going to put a single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. Then I'm going to skip these next post stitches, the first 3. I'm going to skip those, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do a front post treble around the next 3, and you'll see this will create that cross. So a front post treble is I have to yarn over twice, put my hook around the stitch like before, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on my hook, then yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2. And this is a nice long stitch that will extend across this set of front post doubles. So I'm going to do 2 more. Yarn over twice, go around the next post stitch, and yarn over twice and go around the last one here of that set of 3. And you can see how that creates it crossing over. So the next part is now I'm going to go back and work in these, and I'm going to go over what I just made. So I'm going to yarn over twice, and I'm going to go over and back to that first front post double crochet. So I'll show you that again. So I just completed these front post trebles, and now I'm going to go back and work around these first 3 in the cable. And I'm going to do another treble, front post treble, because it's nice and long. It can reach over there. So yarn over twice, put my hook around that first one, through 2, through 2, through 2, yarn over twice, and do that again. And now over that third one. See it right here? And again, I can find it by following it up. Here's that 1, 2, 3. Here's my next one. And now you can see this side is crossing over the ones we just made. And we want to make sure that we skip these 6 stitches in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side, where we cross and cross. So I'm going to skip these 3, yarn over twice, and work around the second 3. There you can see the front post trebles crossed over. Now I'm going to go back and work in these 3. Now the only thing that's different here is over here the second group of front post trebles, we went over the ones we just made. Over here we're going to go under those. So I'm going to do 2 yarn overs, and this is the hardest part. I'm going to move the ones I just made out of the way, and I like to pull up the stitches from down underneath. So I'm going to want to work around this one, and this one, but I'm going to want to go down through here and work around them like this. So this is the trickiest part right here. And I'm going to pull this down and pull those stitches up so I can see them right here. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to yarn over twice and just stick my hook around that. And I'm using my left hand here to feel those stitches so I can feel that post, the next one right there. And then I dig around and see, I can see that next one right there. Yarn over twice last time. And there you see how the ones that I just did went under those first sets of post treble, whereas on this side they went over. So it just gives a nice look to your headband to have these go in different directions. But if this is too tricky for you, you can just do this version on both sides and your headband will still look really nice. Then you'll want to skip the 6 stitches behind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then work a single crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. 1, 2. So this is what it's going to look like at the end of row 13. Row 14. another even row. So we chain one, turn our project around. This is what it should look like on the wrong side. And you see that a lot of these here are little pockets where we have our skipped stitches that are behind the post stitches. So we want to keep skipping those. And so here we have the top line of our most recent stitches. So this can be a little tricky. You can pull them apart here to help them flatten out and see what you usually see when you work into the top of crochet stitches. So we want to do a single crochet in each one of these. Being very careful to not skip anything. And you want to have 19. So here I'm coming up on some of the long post stitches, the post trebles. So see, they're kind of bunched up here. So I like to just pull them out so I can see them. See, they're bunched up, and then just pull them out so you can see them while you're working. And so here you see the back. Let's turn it around. And that really helps the crossing cable to pop out now that we've added that single crochet row. So now we're ready for row 15, our last row of the repeat. We're going to chain one, single crochet in the first 2 stitches. And now we're going to work a front post double crochet around each of the post stitches. Now remember, each cable has 6 post stitches all the time. So this is where we really want to make sure that we work around 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So for a total of 6. So I'm going to yarn over and do a front post double. So I put my hook around that first one. And again, feel free to pull it apart, use your hands to push those post stitches up through the gap. My last one right here. And now I'm going to go right into working around these 3. This is where the cable is coming back together. And then we'll work on separating it. See the third one right here? So here's where we crossed, and then here we are starting the next oval shape of the cable. So we want to skip those 6 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to work around the next 3 post stitches here and the 3 there for a total of 6. Yarn over, put my hook around the first one. Yarn over, hook around the next one, yarn over, hook around the next one. Now here we want to pull them up and out so we can see them well. Right here. Put my hook around. Hook around this one, and hook around this one. And then we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 behind what we just made, and then put a single crochet in the last 2. 1, 2. And now we're ready to start our pattern repeat again. So you see how it actually isn't that difficult. You make the front post together, then you work it so they separate a little bit and have a gap in between. Then you bring them back together and do the long cross, and that's it. Then they come back together, and then we'll work our way up to separate, then cross, and that's how you do this cable stitch for the crochet cable headband. So according to the written instructions, remember that you can find at CelticKnotCrochet.com, we're going to start back with row 4, and we're just going to repeat row 4 through 15 about 10 total times. So I'm going to chain 1, and row 4 is the one that we repeat often, and that's the single crochets across. So I'll just get you started on this next pattern repeat, but if you need to follow along, just rewind the video. You can find where row 4 starts in the timestamp list below in the description. And feel free to just follow along so you get the hang of each row and its repeats. So now I'm going to repeat row 5. Chain 1, turn, and I'm going to single crochet in the first stitch, and I want to find those first 3 post stitches right here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do front post double crochet around each of those. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to skip 3 stitches here, 1, 2, 3, and then work a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches right here in between the post stitches. Now I'm going to work a front post double crochet around each of the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to skip 3 back here, 1, 2, 3, and put 1 single crochet right here. Now I'm going to repeat that again. Front post double around the next 3. Skip 3 behind, 1, 2, 3, and then work a single crochet in each of the next 2. 1, 2, and then front post double around the next 3. Then I'm going to skip 3 on the back, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in that last single crochet. And there I have row 5 completed. So after you've worked in the DK weight yarn, your pattern repeats for a total of 11 times. So you could see this is the beginning here, and then we have the cross, and then this next section of the cable, so we can count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have a total of the 11 sections, and then you're going to stop after your last row 13, which is the crossing row, where you work those long treble crochets, and you want to fasten off. And now we're going to sew the headband together, and we're going to sew the short ends, bring the short ends around, and match them up like this. Now what I like to do is I like to sew them together where I'm joining the cables here, these post stitches. Let me zoom in for you. I'm going to sew it so it looks like these go right into these with no disruption. So you can just sew them together like this and it'll be on your head, probably on the back at the nape of your neck, and you won't see it anyway. But with this technique, you'll be able to hide that seam, and then if you end up putting this in the front, you won't even know. So you'll want to use the yarn tails. Cutting them nice and long would help. I might have to add some more yarn here. And I'm just going to go across through the first stitches on one side and then back through the stitches on the other side. Do this nice whip stitch. And now here I am at my post stitches. So I will do the same thing that I did with my crochet hook. I'm going to go around this post stitch, and then the one that matches it up on the other side, I'm going to go around that one. And I'll do that twice. And because everything's in the same color, you see how it looks like they just go right into each other. And then I'll do that on the next one. Go under the next one, and then around the next one. Doesn't matter which way you go. Again, the same color hides a lot of stuff. Pull it nice and tight, and it's like those post stitches are worked one right after the other. All right, and then I'll have to find the third one here, is hiding down here. Put my needle around that one, and then pass around the third one here, right at the edge. And so now I've joined those 3 stitches, and they go right into the other ones. And so you continue in that same way across, making sure that the center stitches line up here, and then your post stitches on this side line up. And then we're going to add a post stitch edging. If you look here at the rusty orange one, you could see here it's just a little simple ribbed edging done with back and front post stitches. And I'll show you how to do that next. One thing I forgot to mention, that is, if you would like, before you sew your headband together, you can wet block it so that the stitches relax a little bit more, and it just gives a nice finished look to your project. But you can also do it once it's been sewn together. You just fully wet it with some cool water, press out the excess in a towel, and then lay it out on a towel to dry overnight, and you can even pin it into shape. So now we're ready to put on the small edging that's around each side to give it a nice finished look. So you want to put your slip knot on your hook. You could use a contrasting color to make it look a little different. And I'm going to insert my hook right into the sides of the rows, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. And that's joining with a single crochet. And I'm going to work 1 round of single crochet, inserting my hook into the end of the rows and making sure they're all evenly spaced as I go around the headband. So it's just a nice clean edging. If you'd like, you can stop after this single crochet round and not add the ribbed edging. You decide. But really adding this single crochet edging is a nice way to finish off the raw edges of your headband. And then when we get back to this first one, we'll join with a slip stitch and start our ribbing rows. I've gone around one side with the single crochet stitches and I've joined to that first one, and now we're going to chain 3, chain 2, and then I'm going to work around the post of the single crochets I just made. So I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to put my hook through the side, out to the back, then back out to the front, and complete a double crochet as usual. So that's a front post double crochet. Then I'm going to do a back post double crochet, and that is by going from the back to the front and back out to the back around the next single crochet, and then I complete my double crochet as usual. And I'm going to continue in that pattern, a front post double crochet, and then a back post double crochet all the way around. And that's going to give this nice alternate ribbing look like you see on the cuffs of a knitted sweater. So in case that was difficult for you to see, I'm going to show you again with this thicker yarn. So here I have a row of single crochet stitches, and just like where we just started, we'll have the chain 2, and then here's my next single crochet. I'm going to yarn over, put my hook to the right of the stitch, around the back, and then out the front, and then yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 for a double crochet. And that's a front post double crochet. It pops out here in the front. Now this next single crochet right here, I'm going to do the back post. So I yarn over and I insert my hook on the same side, the right side of the stitch, but I'm coming from the back, go around the front and then back out to the back, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, and that's a back post. And by putting these next to each other, alternating, it's going to create the pretty ribbing and give it some texture. So here's our next single crochet. Yarn over, put my hook around the post of the single crochet, and then complete the double crochet as usual. Here's my next single crochet. It helps to pull it apart with your hands. Yarn over from the back, come out around the front of the stitch, back out to the back, yarn over, pull through, and then complete the double crochet as usual. So that's a little easier to see. So you can see here how doing a front post and then a back post stitch creates this unique textured edging that's similar to a knit look. And I decided that I'm just going to do one row of the post stitches because I don't want my headband to get too much thicker. And I'm going to do this on the other side as well. One row of single crochet and one row of the front and back post double crochet. And there you have it. The crochet cabled headband is complete. Here you can see it in this rusty orange color, and then here in the beautiful sapphire blue yarn. And I've gone around both sides with those front and back post double crochet stitches, and I joined together, and now it's ready to wear to keep my head and ears warm. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to click to subscribe. And remember, all the details about the supplies are in the description below. And if you want to find the written pattern, you just go to my blog at CelticKnotCrochet.com. Thanks for watching. Happy crocheting!